Wally. Wally, I gotta feed the worms. Yeah, it's time to feed the worms. Right, Moose? Wally, when I say it's time to feed the worms, it's not what I thought you were gonna do. Hello, friends. We're back. Apparently, I'll just stand over here where there's some space between all the bears. So, today, we're checking on our worms as per usual. It's been about a week since they were last fed, and we have a lot of exciting things going on. We have a starving tier, a tier that's recently started, and some tiers that had kind of gotten split a little bit or a little bit newer. So we got a little bit of everything. I was thinking about today, and as soon as Wally moves, we'll get in there. But food menu this week includes watermelon with a side of watermelon rinds. I actually had frozen this watermelon in chunks. You can kind of tell for freezing for the dogs because they love, well, Wally loves the watermelon at least as like a post-walk, post-outside time treat. And that particular one just, I don't know if it fell or what happened, but it all kind of just froze together. And so I was like, let me just defrost it and we'll get into the worms. They'll like it. But we also have a bag of watermelon rinds because it's watermelon season. So let me move Wally so we can get in here. And before we get into the worms, this window cling stuff is... Wally, I just moved you. This window cling stuff is so cool. In the early mornings when the sun's hitting it, it looks super, super great. So if you guys were ever considering getting some of that, definitely worth it. I got it on Amazon. It was awesome. Okay. Moving Wally again. Don't worry, he's not too far away. He's just mad that he's not next to my feet, pretty much. Okay. So, like usual, we're going to be starting at the bottom and working our way up. Which I'm actually pretty pleased with the progress of things. I was thinking about that the other day. We've been making good progress in general. I'm just going to check. Nothing super exciting down there, but we'll leave it. I don't want to assume. Alright, so this is tier 3. And we have left them to starve / finish out the food here in hopes that they will do what they need to do and migrate up. Although at this point there are a pretty decent amount of worms in here still. However, there is still some random bedding elements in here, so I'm gonna leave them one more week, I think, and then perhaps next week. Oh, what's this? Oh, that doesn't look good. I wonder what that was. Something got in here by accident. Oops. It's definitely a piece of plastic. Oopsie daisy. Anyways, we're going to, I think let's let them sit in here a little bit longer because I'm sure there's baby worms and stuff in here. But the castings themselves look really nice. They feel good. Some of them are a little bit more wet than I would typically have, I don't know, expected, but I'm not surprised because they haven't really been starving too long. So we're just gonna let them keep doing their thing. They're doing good. Alright, that brings us to tier 1, which is, I believe, the newest tier. Yeah, look how low it is. It's definitely the newer tier. It says I gave them 4 watermelon chunks last week, which seems oddly specific, but I mean, it looks accurate. I mean, this is where they all were, clearly, so that's good. I'm gonna go ahead and give them some more food this week. I think this corner, we'll do this left corner. We'll do some more watermelon. I think they can probably handle a little bit more than 4 watermelon chunks. I have no idea. I'm sure it seemed like a good idea at the time, but we're gonna give them this bag that have the dog watermelon in it because I think they can handle more than 4 pieces. Okay. I did put some paper towels down just to absorb some of the liquid because I think it's a little, oops, that's not what I meant to do. Yep, definitely not what I meant to do. No problem, we can fix this. We can fix this. We're just gonna move this over here. The watermelon is still a little bit cold. Like I said, it was in the freezer, but it's still frosting. So I'm gonna bury it in here. Oh, Wally heard that there was watermelon. No, baby. I know. Watermelon is like Wally crack right now. Alright, we're gonna put a little bit of bedding on top of the watermelon. I know, Wally, I said watermelon. It's like a magic word for you. I'm just gonna cover this area. I think that's pretty good. Right, Wally? Alright. Feeling good about tier 1. Alright, we'll let Wally stay here for just a minute, but then we're gonna go ahead and pick these up. Excuse me, Wally. Put this back on here. Put this down here. So this is tier 2. And last week they were fed, oh, let's see, watermelon in the back left corner. I know, Wally, I'm triggering you with all the watermelon. All right. So back left past me said, oh yeah, this looks like it could be it. Okay. I mean, I don't actually see any watermelon, but I'm not really expecting watermelon. So this has a lot of worms in it. I feel like, yeah, we got some good worm population here. I am a little worried about the moisture levels in this particular tier. Although, you know, now that I'm looking at this, there's really worms kind of everywhere, huh? Maybe I should bait some of these worms next. Maybe that's what we'll do. Okay. All right. Plans are happening. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and feed these worms in tier 2 here. Actually, we are going to feed them. I just went back to look at my notes. So we're looking at tier 2 here that has a lot of worms. Tier 2 was last started around mid-end of May. So given that we're not really at 3 months at this point, I suppose we might be close to that, but I'm not quite there. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to feed them. But I think I'm going to set myself a reminder to bait or to come in here like in a couple days when I know they're at, you know, a feeding frenzy state, because I'd really like to get some more worms out to the urban worm bag from here, because I really want to turn these into our breeding bins that are lower population. Like I really want most of my population out in my urban worm bag. I think that's probably better for me in the long run. So that being said, I am going to make it easy for future me, and I'm just going to come and show you guys, because it's tricky because I see a lot of worms. It's not like there's areas that don't have worms or there's not a huge number of worms, but I feel like there's more than enough here for me to pull from out there and move out there. So we made ourselves a nice little divot, and what we're going to do is we are going to tempt these babies with all the goodness, all the deliciousness. We'll leave this here. So I'm making like kind of like a little bit of a buffer for them. And then, I bought these baggies by mistake. They're like these, they almost feel like trash bags, but they're actually pretty handy, but they make me nervous when I pick them up because they kind of stretch. But I guess that's what they're supposed to do. So this is watermelon rinds. So we're gonna give them a lot. Arguably too much. But I think it's okay. I think it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna spread it out a little bit. And then I'm gonna try to bury, I don't know, I don't know, I'm not full to get all of it, but we're gonna get some of it. We're gonna definitely try and cover it. And then I don't want to put fresh bedding down just yet because I think it'll be harder to move around in a couple days if I come back to this. And these are all just pre-used, gently used paper towels. So we're gonna do that, and let's give them like a little bit of coverage. I don't want to put anything, I don't want to put too much on here because the watermelon is technically still pretty cold for being previously frozen. And there's a lot of worms in there. So I think that's a good spot to leave this, especially if it's just for a few days. Okay, so our tier here is coming back up. I think this is what, tier 4. And then as per usual, we're gonna do our renter mess check. And so we got maybe 3 tiny little nuggets of dirt. Not much. So if you are a renter, this is not going to be a big problem for you. This is interesting. So this is not normally dripped on when I stack the tiers on top of each other, so that's interesting, but I'm not surprised. I will say the moisture levels are a little bit higher than I normally would like, but I think they're okay. I'm trying to be cool about it, not over fuss. All right, we got some friends up on the top here. Hello, friends. Okay, little baby. We got a little baby in here. Yeah, I just try to move the ones on the edge that are most likely to like wander off by accident when I put this on the freezer, because I don't have any casualties while I'm just doing this cover check here. So give me a second. All right, nothing crazy here. So last week when we fed this tier, this is tier 4, they got a massive watermelon feeding on this side, and just coming in here looking at this tier, having just looked at the other tier below it, this tier, I mean, and they look like this tier's almost done, doesn't it? Like there's hardly any bedding. Like, I mean, I just messed it up, but it's nice and flat on the surface. There's a little bit of bedding here and there, but really not a whole lot. So I probably should be, honestly, should I be baiting these too? I think I was supposed to be baiting these and I forgot, to be honest with you, but I don't see any watermelon. Not that I'm expecting to. I mean, watermelon goes super quick, but we'll see. Okay, ooh, there is a piece of watermelon rind. Or wait, is that just really old bedding? I think that's watermelon rind. Wow. Oh wow, they decided that was the last. Okay, oh, interesting, because they got a huge feeding last week. Interesting. Okay. Wow, this is the first time I've ever really looked in here and then like there's been any indication that there was watermelon. So that's interesting. Okay, so but it's pretty much all the fruit part of it and the juicy part is gone. So, ooh, gotta run away. Okay. So that's interesting. Very interesting. I kind of want to do it again, to be honest with you guys, and just go straight down the middle this time, and then let's see what happens. Let's see what we get, because I know we've taken worms out of here before, but maybe I should just keep. I don't know. I'm throwing ideas out there, but I kind of feel like I should just keep taking the worms as much as possible. Like if I get to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm digging around and there's, worms pretty much in every section of here, I'm wondering if maybe that's a good sign from like a breeding point of view and encouraging growth. Because I'm really curious about that kind of experience. Like, how do we transition from trying to max out our population to trying to decrease the population pretty quickly to spur more growth. That's kind of where I'm at, and I've been doing a lot of reading about it. It's interesting because I really want to see like what my little wigglers could do. They've done so good this far. So this is a very large feeding, but I believe in them, and they're gonna eat it all, probably most of it. All right, well this worked out pretty well because I'm just gonna go ahead and spread out this watermelon a little bit, and then we're gonna go ahead and I'll show you guys like it's watermelon for sure. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of tuck the watermelon in, kind of making like a little bundle with the paper towel so nobody gets too frozen, or at least as they break it down, it'll have some protection. So we're like lightly, very lightly covering it. I think we have some really impressive numbers here. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and plan on not taking any more worms out of 4, and then we'll just stick to tier 2 for the next split that we do, or mini split. I don't want to call it a full split because it's not really what we're doing, right? So yeah, I feel like I'm a little all over the place today with my plans, but this is an evolving situation. We don't really know until we get in here and get our fingers dirty and take a look at what we're working with here, that we really can make the decision on what we're doing. So we'll give these guys a day or two, or maybe more. I don't know. We'll see where life takes us, and then we'll go back and see how they're congregating around the watermelon, and then just start pulling them out and then moving them to the worm back, I guess. Yeah, I think that's the plan. Simple, easy to remember. All right, guys. Thanks for following along with the stream of consciousness today. I feel like it was a little all over the place, but sometimes those are how the days go. So stay tuned. More food coming to worms soon.